Hello, Michelle.
How's it going?
How's it going? We were trying. I don't know if it was busy or if it was just our end that was malfunctioning.
Yeah, I don't know. My phone's been acting up lately, so I'm glad I still got to get through.
Oh, definitely. It's a tremendous honor. My name is Izzy, by the way, and welcome to MMA Jam Live.
Well, thank you for having me.
Definitely. Now let's get right into it. You've been fighting professionally for over 7 years. Can you explain to our listeners how you got your start in martial arts?
Well, I have an older brother, and when we were younger, he had seen a flyer about just a local rec center doing martial arts, and he was really interested in it, and I wanted to do whatever my older brother did. And we went, and we just absolutely fell in love with it. It just became a big part of our lives. We competed in martial arts tournaments every month. And, my instructor really inspired me to want to make it a part of my life and a part of my adulthood. And so I knew I wanted martial arts to be a part of my life. I got my black belt in American Freestyle Karate. And then I wanted to learn as much as I could about all the different martial arts. And I kind of dabbled a little bit in Kempo, and then I did a couple of years of Wushu. And then I started wanting to do more of the combative side of it. So I started training some Muay Thai. I went out to Thailand with my mom for a little bit and trained out there. And when I came back, I took an amateur Muay Thai fight, and the adrenaline that I got from competing, I just became addicted to it. And then I met Donald Cerrone, who got me into MMA, and he's actually the one who convinced me to move out here to Albuquerque and start training with Coach Jackson and Coach Winklejohn, and here I am.
Oh, that's a very interesting story. Now, it says here that you started karate at the age of 10?
Mhm.
Wow, that's amazing because, I've had somebody around my age, and you're around my age as well, and I always, one of my biggest regrets in life is not being able to, find a place to train, when I was younger. I don't do it now. I feel like that ship has sailed for me for some odd reason. But was it difficult to find places to train at that age?
Well, like I said, I think my instructor, he was a very passionate person. The place that my family, we had enough growing up, it was a blue-collar family, and so we had enough to do that. We couldn't afford to go to a really, really fancy place, but my parents made sure that we could go and compete in the tournaments each month and stuff like that. And we were really fortunate to find an instructor that was passionate about the children and just wanted to see them grow and learn. And the instructor, he was just his name was Charles Wood, and he was just a passionate guy, and liked to see the growth of the students, and just very fortunate.
Now, how at the age, we mentioned you started training at 10. How long was it before you earned a black belt in freestyle karate?
I want to say it's probably 16 or 17.
Amazing. Now, from June to July 2007, you appeared on an Oxygen show titled Fight Girls. Can you describe your experiences on that show and whether or not it was beneficial to the early stages of your career?
Oh, no doubt it was beneficial. I mean, just the exposure that all the girls got on that show just was great for us. I think it got the mainstream public to see a little bit of what we do and why we choose to do it. I do think I learned a lot from the show. It was at the very, very beginning of my career, and so I was still very young, still very fresh, still very green. And I think I learned more mentally than I did, physically. But from there, I think I was able to kind of grow leaps and bounds in my decisions that I did after the show.
I never had any issue with the show. I thought it was a very good concept, but I think the biggest problem was that it did air on Oxygen. And nothing against Oxygen, but it's not, when you think about that channel, you don't think about shows like that. So I don't think they had the proper backing. Is that a fair assessment, or maybe I'm just off on that?
Well, I don't know. I guess you can look at it both ways, because people, I don't know, that normally associate with watching Oxygen or whatnot might not watch those things in normal life. But if they were watching Oxygen and happened to come across it, I definitely think it's something that would pique their interest, and then they would continue to watch. So pulling in somebody into the sport that might not normally know much about it, I think is great, because it just lets people know that aren't normally interested in the sport, and it kind of just lets them into our world and shows them the dedication and the passion that we have, for our love, which is the martial arts.
I definitely agree with that. It's a little bit harder to pull in the casual fan. But I do agree with you that, if somebody goes on, and sees this on TV, and for all intents and purposes, the Oxygen demographic, they're targeting pretty much women, I wouldn't say middle age, but probably from 28 to 35, possibly a little bit older. So it's not usually the same as the people that they target for fighting. But I agree with you. If someone comes across that on the TV, it might pique their interest.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of television shows, you also appeared on one of my favorite shows. I know, it's probably weird for me to say this, but you appeared on season 3, episode 3 of Bully Beatdown. What was that experience like, and was it something you ever imagined doing in your life?
Oh, it was a great experience. I remember watching that show and being like, man, how cool would that be to be on that show? And, a couple of years down the road, I get a call, and they asked me if I was interested in doing it, and I jumped on the opportunity. It was so much fun. So, yeah.
What was it like working with Mayhem Miller? He's definitely a colorful character. He was just crazy on the show. That had to be a joy working with him.
Yeah, he is definitely a character. I think that a lot of people think it's just kind of this, facade that he puts on when he's on the show, but he's definitely a crazy character all the time, which is great. I love it. And he really, I thought, brought the show so much, entertainment.
And for those of you guys out there that don't know this, because of Michelle's work on that show, she stripped the bully of all $10,000 of his money. So congratulations on that, Michelle.
Yeah, anytime. I saw Mayhem taking the money from the bully and giving it to the victim, and I was looking at the victim hook it up, come on, throw some of that over to me.
Oh, man, then they would have had to do, if you would have bullied him or something, they would have had to put you as one of the bullies on the show.
Yay.
Now, you recently had a baby just 3 short years ago. This is the first time I'm talking to you, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What kind? You're very welcome. What kind of effect has your daughter had on your career?
Nothing but positive effect. It's a struggle now, but I think that in struggle, sometimes we do our best work because we're just going against the grain. She gives me a newfound motivation, I think, and before I was kind of just going with the breeze wherever it went, just wherever the wind took me. But now that I have a daughter, and I just want the world for her. And so anytime I'm training, I think of that. And when I'm fighting, I think of that. And I want nothing but the best for her. And I want her to see that mommy pushes, herself, and she doesn't give any excuses. I have a responsibility to her to give her the world.
Now, as far as your outlook goes, does it make you really train harder? Is it something it just gives you this added motivation because it's something that you're someone you're fighting for now?
Yeah, Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, when I'm training, it's crazy how much we take for granted the time that we have each day. Because now that I'm a mom, I don't have much time because I have to be a mommy. So when I am training, I'm like, I'm taking advantage of this hour and a half, and I'm gonna go 110% because this is the only time I have to train. So yeah, I definitely think that helps.
Well, I definitely have a huge appreciation for the sacrifices you make inside and outside the cage. So I'm very proud of how you've conducted yourself both inside and outside the cage.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Now, tomorrow makes an anniversary. I'm sure you've had that in your head. On April 5th, 2013, exactly 365 days ago, you picked up your biggest win to date when you submitted Jessica Penne via armbar in the 4th round to claim the Invicta Atomweight title. What did that title win mean to you?
You know, when you start fighting, you kind of have a list of goals, and one of my goals was to obtain a belt, and it was great that I was able to fight such a competitor on a great show such as Invicta and bring home the win. So it was kind of one of those things that I can say that I've done. And it was a great feeling. It's one night that I will never forget.
Yeah, you know, I remember seeing that fight. It was just a tremendous performance. And, again, this is 1 year later, but congratulations again on a huge victory for you. Thank
you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Now, in round 3, Penny actually had you in a tight armbar herself. What was going through your mind at that moment, and how close was that to ending the fight?
Well, I was actually more worried about the ground and pound than I was the armbar. So I think when she let up on the ground and pound to try to go for the submission, I was a little bit I was a little bit more comfortable because at least it was like able to get out of that ground and pound position and make it a little bit more of a scramble. But I just remember thinking in my head when I was caught between her legs that how is this going to end like this? Is this going to end like this? You're fighting for a belt. Don't quit, and just I mean, in those couple of split seconds, there's so millions of things going through your mind. But like the biggest thing that were going through my mind is like just me questioning, like, is this how it's going to end? And then I have like, I think I had like a demon on one shoulder and an angel on the other, like arguing. But finally, I was like, nope, it's not going to end like this. And I just, pulled myself out of wherever I was and decided to change the fight around.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, man, the fact that you got out of that hold is just tremendous because, I mean, it looked like you just weren't, that wasn't even an option for you to tap or, I mean, it looked like you were just prepared for your arm to just be snapped. I mean, I hate to be graphic, but that's exactly how it looked to me on the television. It looked like you were just ready to just, okay, if you're going to break it, but I'm not tapping.
Yeah. I mean, it should be that way, right? We're fighting for the belt. Come on, like, let's go.
Oh, I love that. That is fantastic right there. Now, you've been out, as I mentioned earlier, that fight was a year ago. You've been out of the cage since then. When should we expect to see you back? I know that's the question everybody wants to know. I'm pretty sure they wanted me to ask you that first, but when should we expect to see you back?
Yeah, you know what? I hope sooner than later. I can't give you a date because I don't know myself, but definitely soon. I'll keep you guys posted, and as soon as I find out, I'll let you guys know.
The funny thing is I always know the answer to that question, but I ask it anyway because, hey, I mean, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, now, if I knew the answer, I'd tell you right away for sure.
Definitely. Now, a couple of days ago, Jessica Penne went on PRW radio and mentioned, I think it was, I don't remember what day, it might have been the 28th, and she mentioned that she hates the fact that people think that the fight with you was the best fight of the year because it was one of her worst. Are you of the same
Mhm.
mindset as her regarding that fight, or do you feel like those comments were out of line?
I just think that just goes to show the type of character Jessica has, and to me it's kind of a slap in the face and really disrespectful. But if that's the way she thinks, then by all means go ahead and say that. But I don't think it's doing the fight any justice. I don't think it does herself any justice to be saying that. But yeah, to each its own, whatever she thinks. And if I was able to take her out of her mindset and not fight her best, then I guess I was doing a good job. So
yeah, you know what? I completely agree. And if I'm being objective here, my opinion is that people only say that when they're on the losing end. If she had won that fight, there's no conversation. Yes, that's one of the best fights.
Exactly.
And I find that a lot of fighters do that. And I would never badmouth a fighter person. Like, I would never do that. But my opinion is that if she would have won, then it would have all of a sudden turned into the best performance of her career. And I think that most people share that same feeling.
Well, I'm glad you see it that way. You know, I guess it's not in my character to badmouth or whatnot. But you know, I'm just gonna let her keep talking, and sooner or later, I think the world will see the type of person she is. So I'll just kind of let her run herself into the ground.
Definitely, fair enough. But I just wanted to tell you, you know, that there are people that are not thinking that way. There are people, unfortunately, that feel the way she does, but there's also people that feel like I do.
Mhm. Well, thank you.
Now,
I appreciate it.
You're definitely welcome. Now, at the Invicta 6 post-fight press conference way back, Shannon Knapp did mention that she'd like to give you a fight before facing Penne again. Is that something that interests you, or is a fight with Penne inevitable?
I know a fight with Penne is inevitable if she decides to sign again with Invicta. I'm not sure if that's something that she's trying to do. But, you know, at this point in my career, I'm really not interested in fighting Penne. I'd rather fight somebody I have more respect for as a fighter and just go in there and bang it out with somebody new, some new blood.
Completely agree. Now, this might be a silly question. I know you obviously fight at 105, and for all intents and purposes, you're very happy there. Did it ever cross your mind to try out at 115 on The Ultimate Fighter? Did it ever cross your mind at all?
I just think from being on the Oxygen show with the Fight Girls, and I feel like I've kind of been there, and I know that's a completely different situation, but I just feel like at this point in my career and having a daughter and being in the situation where I am now, holding the Invicta belt, I just think it's a smarter move for me not to. But I'm very, very happy for all the girls that are on the show, and I can't wait to watch that show. It's going to be so much entertainment. I can't wait.
I completely agree with you. Before I let you go, where can we find you on Twitter and or Facebook?
You can find me on Facebook. I think it's just under Michelle Waterson, and Twitter it's Karate Hottie MMA. So those are probably the two easiest ways to find me if you want to catch up. And I do like monthly check-ins with MMA moms, like once a month here or there whenever they have me on their show. So.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we get all the information out for you, Michelle. It was a tremendous honor speaking with you. I truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us here on a Friday night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to go watch my teammate Holly home tonight, kick some butt, and hopefully it's a great night.
Okay, now that sounds like a plan. Good luck to Holly, and good luck to your whole team. And again, hopefully we can do this again sometime. I had a blast, and again, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem, anytime.
You have a wonderful weekend, Michelle. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.